Also here tonight is Democratic Congressman Khanna, whose congressional district sits right there in the heart of Silicon Valley. Congressman, thank you so much for being with me. I said at the outset this seems to be scrambling party lines, Republican Democrats. I don't know. Some suggest the party line that actually is being divided when it comes to big tech is establishment versus anti-establishment. Where are you on these bills? Where are you, establishment or anti-establishment?
Well, I don't think that's the division. I think the division is rational policy versus policy that doesn't make sense. I'm for stronger antitrust enforcement, and there is one bill, Joe Negus's bill, that I think does the right thing. It would increase the fees on mergers and make it harder for mergers. But a lot of the other bills are just poorly crafted. I mean, they would actually, in some cases, make the situation worse. There are principles of it that are good, but if you look at the details, they haven't really thought through or done their homework.
I have to follow up with this then. Who gets to define, or who does define, what is rational? If that is your dividing line on which of these bills make sense, who is defining what is rational? And I would be remiss if I didn't point out your district does sit in Silicon Valley. Some of your biggest donors are Alphabet, Google's parent company, lobbying companies that represent companies like Dropbox.
Absolutely.
So the concern is, are big tech companies deciding what is rational? Are they writing the laws?
No, not at all. For example, I don't think Google and Apple should be able to have a promotional agreement where Google is the default search engine on the iPhone. And the Justice Department has filed suit. It actually started in the Trump administration. That is a really reasonable law. But to say, for example, as one of the bills does, that if your data is transferred to someone else, we have to allow that transfer without getting people's consent, that's what created the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Or to say that these companies shouldn't be able to have any say in who they sell with, that's actually going to lead to more radicalization on the
Congressman,
internet.
In the end, as complicated as this can be, it gets fairly simple. Many people think that the problem is there's not a free market check on these massive companies. If you are censored, if you are kicked off, you have nowhere to go to regain your voice. And the only way to regain that voice, to regain the free market check, is to make these companies smaller, to break them up, to take away their tangential businesses. Would you support reducing the size, breaking up these big tech companies?
I think it depends on a case-by-case basis. I do support, for example, I think WhatsApp and Instagram shouldn't have been part of Facebook. And if there is ways to untangle it, I support that. I support having more social media forums. And I agree with you, the competition is the answer. Look, tomorrow, if you wanted to say Khanna never comes back on Fox News, what is my recourse? I can't sue Fox News and say, have me on, but I can go on MSNBC or CNN or a lot of other channels. So the ultimate recourse is that we need more social media sites, and there is thoughtful legislation that could do that, and there's thoughtful action that can do that. I don't think some of these bills are actually going to do that.
Well, they are seemingly the first attempt to technically do something to break up big tech. But there's a lot of people, as I pointed out, you and Congressman Jordan, who do not see that these bills are substantive good measures in moving that direction.
They're not. Look at what Europe did. They did GDPR, and Google is more powerful in Europe today, and the tech companies are running circles around the European regulators. Part of our problem is we don't have people in Congress who truly understand tech, and so tech runs circles around them.
All right, Khanna, thank you so much for jumping on with us tonight. All right.
Thank you.
So